Right, so today I'm going to show you how I tie my solid bags. There's loads of solid bag videos on YouTube, so I'm not going to reinvent the wheel in any way, but I want to show you one small tip that I think is quite important. If you use solid bags on a regular basis, it's something that I think is often overlooked and can definitely get you more bites. So I'm going to show you that now. So what you're going to need is obviously PVA bags. I like the mini ones from ESP, or the quarter ones, the small ones. But whatever preference you have, some tape or PVA string, some small pellets. There's a mixture of 2mm pellets in there, and then your solid bag rig. So I'm not going to go into too much detail about this. There's loads of videos on YouTube about solid bag rigs. So I've just got a pre-tied leg cord leader there, a couple of foot in length. I've got a drop off 3.5 ounce square pair, and 4 inches of supernatural braid, size 4. Wide gape, and a little bit of rubber on the end there, a couple of bits of putty just down the hook link. Okay, so you're going to need all of this, and then I'm going to show you how we put it all inside the bag with this little trick that I have. So before I start tying the bag up, I just wanted to show you this little tip that I've got, something that I come across a couple of years ago when I was fishing a small commercial in the winter. A place where I should have been getting plenty of bites, and for some reason I wasn't, and I put it down to something that I was doing wrong with my solid bag fishing. So you can see here I've got one of those mini bags from ESP laid out on the table, and I've got the rig all sat on top of it as most people would put it in their solid bag. So you've got the hook bait pushed into the corner as most people would, you've got the hook at the bottom, you've got the rig coiled up, you've got the lead in the middle of the bag. Okay, so that's how most people would set it up. But with these leads, most people probably use a square pair or a flat pair or something along those lines in the middle of the bag. So there's a good chance that it's going to sit on top of your hook link if your rig is up level with the lead in the bag. So let me just show you what would happen. I've tied this rig up, cast it out into the lake, it's melted, but the hook link is underneath the lead. So as I come in and pick that hook bait up as a fish would, it's stuck. Okay, it's not going to go any further than that far, which is only moving maybe an inch off the floor when the hook link's 4 inches long. Okay, so I worked this out by dropping a bag in the edge, having a look. It looked bang on in the edge, and then I picked the hook bait up and realised that the hook link was stuck underneath the lead. So it made me obviously never want that to happen again. So I've got a way that I tie my bags up that makes sure that every time you cast a bag out, the whole length of the hook link is below the lead in the bag. So no matter which side it lands on, it's always going to present. So I'll show you that now. Right, so I'm going to start constructing the bag now. So you're going to start off taking your mini bag. Okay, I'll put 2 fingers inside the bag just to keep it open. And I'm going to place my hook bait in, and I'm going to push it all the way down into the corner of the bag. Okay, I like my hook laying flat on the bottom. Okay, a little bit fiddly. It's worth taking time, making sure that it's all in the right position. Okay, so it's going to look like that. You've got the hook bait in the corner and the hook laying flat on the bottom. So the first thing I'm going to do from there is just pop a little bit of pellet in. Okay, just to cover that hook at the bottom. Only a tiny little bit though. Okay, so we're in a position now where the hook's covered, hook bait's at the bottom, and you've got a tiny bit of pellet. So the next thing I do is put everything into the bag, which is really important. Okay, so I'm just going to push that lead past my fingers, and I'm going to gently drop it all the way in. Okay, so the lead is literally sitting on top of the pellet that's just above the hook. I'm then going to fill the bag about halfway. Okay, so this is the really important thing now. So you can see there the lead's quite low in the bag, and you've got the hook link just coiling up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to gently tease the lead back out. Okay, so I'm gently teasing the lead back out of the pellet, but I'm leaving all of the hook link behind. Okay, so now I'm in a position where that lead is inside the solid bag, dead centre. There's about an inch of pellet below, and the whole hook link, 4 inches of hook link, is coiled up below the lead. So no matter what side that lead lands on, or the bag lands on, sorry, the lead is not going to be trapping that the hook link in any way. So when a fish sucks that hook bait up, the whole 4 inches will be allowed to pick up and go into the fish's mouth. Okay, so from there, all I'm going to do is pop a bit more pellet in, just work the bag. I like to get them as small as possible, no matter how far I'm fishing out really. I don't like using big bags, just nice and small. Okay, work that pellet down. I come up just to the top of the lead. Okay, let's give it a bit of a bang. You can see there, the hook link is coiled up all around the bottom of the bag. Okay, so from there, I'm just going to twist, keeping it nice and tight. And then going to peel off some PVA tape. Don't need loads. Again, obviously depending on how far you're fishing, as to how much tape you put on, as to how much you're giving it on the cast. Generally sort of 4 or 5 wraps round is plenty. Just a couple of overhand knots. Okay, so before I do anything with this top end of the bag, I sort the bottom out. So all I do is stick that down there, and again, regardless how far I'm fishing out, whether I'm whacking it as far as I can or if I'm flicking it a couple of rod lengths out, always just tidy the bag up, just neaten it up there at the bottom. Just fold those corners in, same as the corner where the hook bait is, just push that back slightly. Okay, right, so there's your bag almost done. So all we're going to do now is just neaten it up. Just grab your scissors, trim off the bit of PVA tape, and then without cutting through your leg core leader, you're going to trim off the excess PVA at the top. Leave a little bit, you don't want to cut it right down so it's taking away the strength of the bag when you cast it, especially if you're giving it some. Okay. Obviously if you're tying bags up in advance as well, which a lot of people do, make sure you're not using pop-ups or any form of reel bait, because they'll dry up in the bag over time and the buoyancy will change, so it might not be fishing effectively as you want it to. Okay, so with plastic baits you can tie them up as long in advance as you want. So just to neaten it up at the top there, just wet my fingers. Okay, just wrap that around so it's nice and neat at the top. Okay, so you can see that's the finished bag. You've got a little bit of corn at the bottom, nice and small, 2.5 inches maybe. You've got a nice big 3.5 ounce lead in there, and you know whatever side that bag lands on the bottom, that hook link's all below the lead, and you're definitely not going to have that problem where your hook link's trapped or stuck and can't go fully up into the fish's mouth. So I've just put a spool of braid next to the bag just so you can get a good idea of the size. It really is quite small, even with that big lead in there, 4 inches of hook link, and obviously your pellet as well. You can get them really small, really aerodynamic. You don't have to make huge bags, and obviously very well presented as well. Okay, just to finish this video off, I'm going to pop the bag that we've just made into a bowl of water here. I'm going to mimic casting it into a lake, so filling it down, but more importantly landing on whatever side it's going to land on. You can't control that when you cast out into the lake. Okay, so I'm just going to flick it in, just lower it down, just make sure it's in the centre there. Okay, we're just going to watch that melt. Okay, so you can see that's pretty much melted now, just a little bit of excess PVA, just move that away. Okay, so just zoom in on that a little bit more. There we go. Okay, right, so you should be able to pick that up. So you can see, first of all, there's quite a lot of pellet there, considering that's only just a couple of scoops into the PVA bag. There's quite a lot of bait there. If you have one of these real big bags, you know, it must look quite a big patch of bait on the bottom, whereas that's just enough for a mouthful. So you can see you've got the lead in the center there. Okay, so I'm just going to reach down, a few pellets just sitting on top of it. So there's your lead. Okay, and then you've got your hook bait obviously at the end here. So there's about an inch maybe between the two where the bag's melted and just pulled that hook bait away. But hopefully when I pick that hook bait up in a second, you'll see that there's no resistance and all of the hook link comes up directly to the lead without any resistance at all. So we'll try that now. So we'll come in, take hold of the hook horn, and we're going to pick it up, and you see straight to the lead. Okay, so it was all coiled up, those two bits of putty keeping it down. You've got a few bits of pellet there that are stuck to the putty, which wouldn't be a problem. Okay, so I'm not saying that you won't catch not doing this. You definitely will, and I've caught plenty of fish in the past using solid bags without thinking about this too much. But say if that hook link folds back underneath the lead just once or twice in a session, you may be missing opportunities. So it's definitely something to have a look at and have a go at next time you're tying your solid bags. Have a little think about it, see whether it's potentially something that could be happening to your rigs when they're going out into the lake. So I hope that's helpful, and hopefully one or two of you will catch an extra fish or two using that little method and that little tip. Okay, I'll speak to you all soon. Bye bye.